Of course, it's not. It's something that inspires, but it's not for copy. Okay, this is very important. Okay, it's inspiration, colors, and also finishings. A lot of things, and you can find inspiration not in only in fashion. Maybe in it's a finishing that a wine bottle is, or maybe. Another kind of company that it's a supermarket, I don't know, but you can find inspiration everywhere. So when we share this moodboard with the client, we have like a feedback. It's like the client can comment this, okay, I like these colors, I like this route more, I imagine my company more elegant or more sophisticated, or maybe I don't want something like this because I want more something more crazy, but it's a way to create the way. I mean, because the client sometimes they don't know what they want if they don't have a real brief. So this client only said we want Barcelona and we want to be very cosmopolitas, and that was a brief. So in that case, we built the brief together. So when the client said that they want something elegant, sophisticated, but at the same time very colorful because company is from Barcelona, so we started to create logotypes because the commission here was to create all the identity, all the branding around this mark. So we started to create different logotypes with different typefaces. So here it's just, I show you like 5 examples, but we did 50. I mean, when we create a trademark, we try a lot. So always base it on this idea of roots, because the roots are not perfect. So we have a lot of concepts around this name, around this trademark that give us ideas to design. For example, how you imagine roots. It's not agreed, you know. So when roots gave us a lot of information to design. Also we wanted to create, okay, roots it's imperfect, but what's happen if it's perfect? So let's try everything that it's happening in your mind. Also there are two airs, but why not we can play with this? This is another idea. At the end, the Illustrator file was very big with a lot of options, and this is another one. It's more related with the other, but it's more abstract and more experimental. And also when we decide like different routes, we share these routes not with the client, with us, the student. So we print all the options, we hang all the options in a wall or in the floor, and we check, okay, let's see what we have. Maybe 3 people working on it or 2. Let's see what we have all together. And we see this option is good because this option it's not good. So we decide all together, all these options. And the options are not very final. It's like ideas, like this. Maybe we show this in a A4 size. And we decide and we talk. And also we decide the colors, because this is more the shapes, but the colors is very important in that company. So because they are from Barcelona, they wanted to be colorful and multicultural. So we decide this kind of colors for all the branding. And we decide, okay, the brief is very important, that the shoes is from the countryside, the original food, these shoes is from the countryside, but they want to put these shoes in the city. So we make 2 colors, and we said, okay, one color is rural and the other color is urban. So we have concepts here. So that's information that gave us the client. And at the end, we decide to create this logotype because it's not, it's fashion, and it has a lot of shapes and the typeface, and and remembers maybe some kind of roots and imperfection. Always playing with these two colors. And we create all the branding elements, the ones that are business cards, this kind of merchandising, always working with two colors. And when we needed to show more communication, for example, for the shoebox, or maybe for a booklet for the client, or something more spectacular, so we decided, okay, what does it mean, roots? So for us, it is okay. Roots comes from here, from the earth, from the strata of the earth. So let's see what's happening, and if we try to convert these roots in something that we can do, that people can understand more or less in an abstract way. So that was an image that we share with the client, explaining the roots come from the earth. Okay, we said, okay, we have these layers, and layers can be papers, and papers, we can cut these papers and we can create compositions. It's now sounds very easy, but arrive to this idea was complicated, and we start playing with these shapes that at the same time were the layers of the earth. And we said, okay, let's do something with these layers, but in the shoebox. What's happening? No? So this is sketches for the shoebox, playing with the colors that we matched at the beginning. So you can, the idea was that when you open the box with the shoe inside, it's like discovering these layers, and you discover the shoes inside. And this is part of the process. We design, like, we try to design a lot of shoebox, maybe 30, 40, and at the end they only choose 2. And this is the final result. You can see here the colors that we took, and the papers were just scanned and vector in Illustrator. So the client was very, very happy with this pattern and proposed us to do a pattern for the shoes. And at the beginning I wasn't very agree with this, because the pattern is very colorful and too risky. And I said, wow, are you sure about this? Because it seems like too much. I wouldn't wear these shoes, never. And the client said, yes, it's very nice, and go ahead. And now is the first sales of the company. So the clients, sometimes they have the truth, and you can listen to the clients. So these are the shoebox, and also they wanted us to do a small booklet with the values of the company. So when we do a booklet, this is not a real size. This is just a mock-up, very small mock-up. So we design it and we print it in a very small scale, just to see the feeling. Because when you are designing your computer, you only see vectors and graphics and colors, but it's not the same look in real, no, how it looks in real. So we decide to, it's more or less the layout, and we decided that the papers could be broken inside. And this is, we did before it without sharing with the client, just for ourselves. But here you are designing, because this is the head text, a small text, the paper is cut, so you are creating ideas in very bad way, but you see here the main concepts. And this is the final result. So it's A5 size, and all the blue pages are cut by hand. And why? Because part of the process of the company is handmade. So we needed to do something that connects with the company, and people understand that they are buying something unique and special. So all the covers are different because are cut by hand. also the client we cut it by ourselves, but also the client cut it in front of another supplier or client, and it's very funny to see this situation. So sometimes at the studio we try, if it's possible, to take away the computer, because when you take away the computer is when you can create these ideas, because it's impossible to create these ideas only with vector. So you see here the texture of the paper, and this is how we did at the studio. That was the smallest studio, so we didn't have place to, we didn't have a workshop, and we cut it in front of our computer. So maybe you think that the client said, are you, he didn't believe that, are you okay with cutting papers? And I said, yes, because this is the real roots, this is the origin, this is special, this is unique for you. Nobody does it in other companies, in shoe brands. So at the end, this project was very important and was very, appears in so many places, in so many blogs, because it was unique. And we create a pattern. This is how we create a pattern. We never did a pattern before, because we are graphic designers and we don't do fashion design. But okay, we said, okay, why not? I mean, let's try, and if not, if we need help, we can ask them or ask people. So we started to design the pattern with pencil and without computer, of course, and always sketching first. Always, never the computer is the first thing. Never, always sketching. And then we put it in Illustrator. And this is the pattern flattened. Was very complicated because this pattern needed to be for all the numbers from 36 to 44, 45. And this is the final product. And the day that the shoes arrive at the studio. And also the client said, okay, are you okay if you do the art direction of the company, of the photo shooting? And we said, okay, we never did it before, but we can do it, of course. And we contact a photographer that is a friend, Rock Canals, and we contact a stylish person that help us with the clothes and everything. And we never made it before, and we started to do photo shooting. So the idea here was to create the instant that people wear these shoes, showing energy and passion. And we played with the papers, with rollage papers and colors. So very simple pictures, but very colorful, and also following the art direction of the company. And this is how the day of the photo shooting. So it was, when you do photo shooting, it's very intensive because you spend a lot of hours without stop. And at the end of the day you get very tired. And this is a photo shooting that we made at the studio before, because we needed to try it, because I didn't imagine, okay, arriving to the place and said, okay, let's do this. So we tried by ourselves in a very, very bad way because we didn't have the correct background, but we started to create it just because we needed to imagine how it looks. So here we play with papers, with compositions, and this is Mikel, and this is Eva, and we try it at our studio. Okay, this is a project, and this is another one. I'm going to show different projects because we are a small studio, and the projects that we have a lot, and not very big because we are a small studio. So this is another project that sometimes happens, I think, and for sure in the future you are going, because now you're in the first year, but maybe in 2 years all your friends will ask for a job. For, okay, can you do me an invitation for this, or a wedding invitation, or whatever. So, but I have a friend of mine that lives in Miami, and she asked me to do the labels for jams, vegetable jams. This is my friend, and she started a new company there, and she called me and she said, okay, Vero, I need to do these labels, the branding for these jams. And I said, okay, I can do it, but I need to think, because you are my best friend, and I want you to be my best friend forever. Because working with friends can be a real nightmare, so you need to think it one night or two or whatever. So, and I said, okay, let's do it. And she said, I only have 1 week. I said, okay, I can do it. But in that case, the process was very fast, because we only have 1 week. And she said, do whatever you want. I have 6 different savors, and it's vegetable, and I want something very different from the competitors. And okay, so every vegetable is a color. And let's start with this, and something very easy. Also, the name is Yummy Yumi. It was given by the client, and it's a kind of food that in the States it's for parties. It's not for a dinner or lunch. It's just for parties. And we try different options, more typography, more colorful. And we thought, okay, it's for parties, she said, and parties is confetti. It's very easy, the concept, and we said, why don't we do something about party by ourselves? So we use the concept of party, that it can be confetti, and we applied it in the labels. Also, she had a very low budget, and we help also in this for the production. And the idea is easy. It's every marmalade has a color, and the holes are made by hand. So it's random, because the marmalades are handmade. This is a business card. And this is the final product, and you see how the holes are in a random place, so never follow a direction. But I need to say that at the beginning she produced 50 units at the beginning, but now in the States, when a product it's very good, so you increase your sales a lot, and now she produced like 1,000 every week, and we needed to change the production. It's not by hand, but we did a die cut in a random place. The business cards. And here you see that, because Agnes sent me always the pictures that she took at the supermarket, at the lineales. And you see the difference. I mean, there's nothing like this, and also just because you are doing something very different for the competitors is positive, because people can buy it only for the design in that case. And I need to say that the product is very good as well, but you see the difference. So in a very easy idea, sometimes you don't need to have 10 concepts. Sometimes 1 concept is enough. This is a project we did in London. It's a front covers, a collection from East London guides, and we needed to create the guides, the covers for London food, London shops, London places or exhibitions, museums. And it was a collection of 3 or 4, and this is an example how we design, because the brief in that case was do something very minimal, only typography, and that's all. I mean, it was very, very small budget, a small brief and also small budget, but they wanted something very, very minimal, typography, and maybe an icon that reminds that it's a guide, or it's the food or the shops. So this is how we design and the options that we do. Yes, we are quite obsessed with the options, but we don't share this with the client. This is only for us, and we do a lot because that project was easy to do a lot of options, and identity is different because it's more complicated. But we do a lot of options, and then we choose maybe 3, 4 for the client. But I think that you need to try to see which is the best one, and maybe the first one that you did is the good one, but you need to try it, okay? And if you wanna do something that maybe it's better, or maybe it's different, or maybe it's different from other things that is happening in the design world, you need to try it and do it very hard. So at the end, the client, before all these options, so they did this thing, and without our permission. So sometimes clients or projects are not successful, and this is happening right now in Hey, in Pentagram, in everywhere. So this is something that will happen always, okay? And we need, as a designers, to keep calm and breathe and say, okay, next one will be okay and will be successful. Okay, this is a very new project that we did this year. As you know, Uniqlo arrived to Barcelona a month ago, and it's a fashion shop from Japan. So they contact us to do the bags, the shopping bags, and it was a client that we had before in the past, and they said, okay, we are Uniqlo and we are from Barcelona, but we want to be here in Barcelona, and we want to be as you. We don't want to be Zara. We don't want to be Inditex, that they arrive to a place and they build very big places, and they don't care about where are. So they are very interested in the city and in the people that is living there. So that's the brief. It's we want to be here inside Barcelona, and we are with you guys. So that was the concept. So we said, okay, if Uniqlo want to be in Barcelona, let's do something with Barcelona, and that people recognize that this is the city. And we create a lot of options. That was one of the options that we present. The idea was to create a series of shopping bags with the most important buildings. And also, if you see the square, Uniqlo logotype is a square. So in these illustrations, there are small squares inside. That it means that Uniqlo is inside these buildings, the people, the city. Also, another idea that we have is that Barcelona has a lot of identity of typography, with all these shops and lettering design, all these things, no, that from the modernist style. So we took different letters from Barcelona windows, shops, and we create like a special shop from them. Okay, another option was create with illustration different scenes of Barcelona, people from Barcelona, places of Barcelona, so the daily life of Barcelona. And another option that we think is, okay, Uniqlo arrives to Barcelona and arrives to our homes. Why not go inside our homes? And what is very typical and from Barcelona is the hydraulic patterns and floors, and we started to experiment with this idea. And also we create these patterns at the beginning because we wanted to do, okay, let's do something more modern, not the typical one that you discover in La Champla or in your houses. Let's do something more modern because Uniqlo is design. And every square, because this kind of pattern is based on squares, one square is Uniqlo, and it means that it's inside our home. But they love this idea, but we needed to do more work on design because they thought that was too much colorful, too much designed. And we said, okay, let's do patterns and patterns and patterns. So we create like thousands of patterns with different colors. So it was crazy. And by the end, we find a solution, and that was a solution. So it was a mix between the more radical one, that was maybe more arty, and not going to the original or locally. So it's a mix between both. So when you see the shopping bags, you see that it's Barcelona, is the floors, and this is the final thing. And it's the first time that we do something for Barcelona. It's strange because we are from Barcelona, and we have clients in Barcelona, but it's the first time that we see something in the streets. So I was very, very happy with this. And also we did a wall inside the shop. And because I was very happy, so always that I find someone at the streets, I took a picture. So yes, I'm happy because for a designer, see your design in your own city makes you proud. And I think that's all, and I'm finishing with a video of the studio. Oh no, sorry. I said at the beginning that it's our 10th anniversary. So at the beginning of November, 9/11, it's an exhibition in Poplano, and the concept of this exhibition is that it's Hey on the other side. And if you want to save the date, these are the dates, and it's an exhibition, workshops, and lectures. And thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for coming. I'm sure that some of you, if you have to leave, you have to leave. I'm sure that some of you have some questions for Veronica because I know you've Googled her and you know who she is. And I'm sure that you have some questions about her process in design. We can start. I can make her one question, but can you raise your hand so I can give you the microphone? Who has questions for her? No one? She explained it very well. Yes? Did you like her? Yes? Can we say thank you?
I think it's time for lunch.
Yeah, it's time for lunch. Okay, guys, so thank you for coming.